Because that's what they basically said about the session. I remember one of
How are you all? Good. Good to hear. So I've got a couple of announcements, and then this is actually a special topics lecture day. So I'm going to go over financial analysis for your case papers. We haven't really talked about that in the class yet, and I'm going to go over what I want you to do for the summary section. And then Thursday, pretty much every other day for the rest of the semester, we have guest lecturers. So Thursday we're going to have a guest lecture panel from Barbara Trooper King. Next week we do not have class on Tuesday, so you guys have the week off for Thanksgiving. I have the week off for Thanksgiving too, but we as a class will not meet next week. Then the week after that, we have two different agriculture industry people that are coming to speak to us on Tuesday and Thursday. And then the final week, we will do two different exams. One which counts towards your grade, and one which counts towards our grade as a university to see how your learning has progressed over the course of your time here. So and then we're done with the semester. So all of a sudden there's not too many days left. So first of all, my announcements. There is a nice event going on next week on small business finance that our Financial Management Association, the club on campus here, is putting on. I put up the flyer on Blackboard for you. So if you go to the content section of our course here and scroll down to other materials, there's a flyer here, FMA Small Business Event. It's going to be this coming Monday, November 21st from 4 to 7 in the Student Union Multipurpose Room. Yes. Oh, thank you. Let's wait for that to come up. There we go. Flyer for the Financial Management Association event. It's on small business finance next Monday, 4 to 7 p.m. in the Student Multipurpose Room. So that's the first announcement. Second announcement, many of you know, but some of you don't, my small business management students are organizing a CSUB fan club night at the Bakersfield Condors game on Friday, December 2nd. They're selling tickets. I have a sign-up sheet which I'm going to pass around. Anybody who's interested in coming to the game, if you buy your tickets by this Friday, you'll be entered into a raffle to win an autographed T-shirt by the entire team. Everybody that comes gets a free hat. Tickets are $17 for the here. Stadium looks like this. Can you see that?
No, not really.
Yeah, I figured not. Let me get another marker out. There we go. How about now? So there's an upper deck of seats here, lower deck of seats here. Our seats are here and here. So we've got executive suite tickets for $17. They're normally $22, so you get $5 off with our CSUB group. And then we've got a suite with private bar, sofas, comfortable chairs. It's right on the ice, so you can't get any closer to the game without actually being on the ice in the game. Those are $34 each, and we're going to do a promotion before the game and after the game. Before the game, we're going to pick a couple people from the crowd to sit in the penalty area when the players are introduced. And then at the end of the game, we're going to play broom ball on the ice after the game is done. So for those of you who don't know what broom ball is, it's hockey with brooms. Just we go on with our shoes and play hockey on the ice with brooms. So that's the deal. I'll pass the sign-up sheet around. I will also pass around, just for fun for you guys. These are heavy. Freebie. It should be enough. If there's not enough, let me know. These are little magnets that go on your fridge or whatever for the season schedule for the Condors. So I will pass these around. Yes.
Is there different pricing for children?
You can take children, yes. I don't have separate pricing on that right now, but it depends on how young they are. If you sign up and make a note like children,
Right.
I'll follow up with you about that separately. And just because I can. Just because I can, I will bounce this around the room as well. Nice, nice. Okay, so last comment about that. How many people in here have seen the movie Semi-Pro?
Oh, yeah.
So we got 170 people to come last spring. It was a bunch of fun for everybody. If we we're trying to get more than 200 people to come this time. If we go over 200, I will also wrestle a bear at the game.
A real bear?
But it may be someone in a bear costume, but I will wrestle a bear if we go over 200 tickets. So anyway, that's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully people want to come. And those are my announcements for today. So, yes?
Is there like a limit on how many people are going to fit in those?
In the suite?
Yeah.
The suite has a limit of 40 people.
Okay, because I just wondered like how many people you expected on coming.
Well, no, these seats here will probably hold 300, 400 people.
Oh, okay.
The suite down here is 40.
Okay.
But yes, the more the merrier. And people who are not CSUB students are totally welcome to come. Please bring friends, bring family, one and all. It'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so that's that. Let me go to the lecture for today now. So our case template. There's 2 sections of this template that I have not had a chance to go over yet for you. We'll start with the financial analysis section. So all the way down at the bottom of this document, I have 4 pages of financial analysis that I want you to fill out. So the first page is comparing financial ratios between your target company and one of their close competitors. So I'm going to use Wonderful and Bolthouse as an example. So in order to do these financial ratios, there's a couple different databases you need to access. So I think that's it. So first of all, you need to go in and find the financial information for the company you're looking for. So if the company is public, then you're going to go to a database called Morningstar. So let me pull this up here. So you go to the CSUB webpage. Wait for it to open. Click on Library, Articles and Databases, and then sort all the databases by title. And you're going to want a database called Morningstar. So open up Morningstar, and then you're going to type in the name of the company here where it says enter a ticket symbol or name. Wonderful is a private company, so we're going to have to do different financial calculations for them. But Bolthouse is one of their competitors. Bolthouse is owned by Campbell's, so that's publicly traded. So if we type in Campbell's Soup Group right here, you can go to Financials, and this will give you the income statement and the balance sheet. That's what you need in order to calculate your financial ratios. So in order to calculate these ratios, we need to know the formula for gross or operating profit margin, the formula for current ratio, the formula for long-term debt-to-equity ratio, and the formula for average collection period. So for those of you who are not finance or accounting focused, I have a guide which tells you how to calculate these ratios. So if you go to Blackboard again, to Case Analysis Materials, and go to 2E Guide to Case Analysis, and then scroll down to page 4, all of the formulas that you need are listed right here. Starting on page 4, they go on through page 5 onto page 6. So first of all, we need the formula for gross profit margin. So that's sales minus cost of goods sold divided by sales. So if we go back to the Morningstar numbers, sales is sometimes called revenue instead. So we've got a number here for revenue. We can use any of the years that are listed here. I'm going to just use the most recent year, 2016 July, and that's $7.9 billion. So 7961 is going to go in here. Oops. Yep, there we go. And so the formula said sales minus cost of goods sold. So now we need to find a number for cost of goods sold. That's going to be cost of revenue in this case. So 5181. And that whole number is divided by 7,961 again. and put this in parentheses. Oops. And you're just going to calculate what that number is. So if I take this back over to Excel, let's open up Excel so we can use it to calculate. And we'll wait for a long, long time while it opens up. There we go. And we have to take the commas out. .349. So we go back in here and put in 0.349. And before we forget, we'll change this to Old House, Campbell's. And then we need to calculate liquidity ratios. So for that, we want to find the current ratio. If we go back to the Guide to Case Analysis, oh, there it is. Scroll down. Current ratio. That's current assets over current liabilities. So in order to find that, we go back to Morningstar, and those numbers are actually in the balance sheet, not in the income statement. So we go to the balance sheet and look for a line that says current assets and a line that says current liabilities. So we have total current assets here. That's the number we want. So, 2016, we'll use that number instead. 1908. Copy that. Put it over here. And then we're dividing by total current liabilities. So if we scroll down some more, we've got a line for total current liabilities. 2555. And then, just like you did up there, you're going to calculate that, and then go on here. I won't calculate it right now, but you're going to go in and calculate what the quotient there is. And then long-term debt to equity ratio, we go back and look at the guide again. Scroll down, long-term debt to equity ratio. So we want long-term debt divided by total stockholders' equity. So those numbers are also in the balance sheet. Oops. So we're going to look in here for total long-term debt. Here's a line for long-term debt. So I'm going to grab that number. Oops. And put that in here. And then we need to find a number for total shareholder equity. So stockholders' equity, total stockholders' equity. That's what we want. So this 1525 number is the one we want. That's going to go here, and then just calculate what that number is. And then finally, we want to calculate average collection period. So again, go back to the Guide for Case Analysis, scroll down, average collection period. accounts receivable divided by total sales divided by 365. So if we go in here and get the number for cost of goods hang on. Accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is also in the balance sheet. So if we look up here under current assets, there's a line that says receivables. That's the one we want. So we're going to grab that number, 626, copy, and put it right here. And then we need to divide that by total sales. So we already found the number for total sales earlier. That one is up here at the top. And that number is divided by 365. And put that in parentheses. Equals, and calculate that number. Okay? So that's what you're going to do for the company that you're focused on and the competitor that you're comparing them to. Now, if the company that you're focusing on is a private company, you're going to have to do something different. So if we use Wonderful as an example, that's a private company. Before I forget, let's change all these to black font. Now, since Wonderful is a private company, you're going to need to open up another document in here. If you go back to the case analysis materials, there's a document here, Instructions for Calculating Private Company Financial Information. So open that up and follow these instructions. So first of all, we go to the library databases and click on ProQuest. And in the search box, we're going to type the following: the name of the company and the phrase pub ID 2032612. That's the number of Experian credit reports database. So we're just going to copy that and paste it in here, and then type in Wonderful and pub ID 2032612. You'll see there's a whole bunch of results, 1,121. Unfortunately, the name Wonderful is difficult to deal with because there's lots of things that use the word wonderful. So we're going to type in Wonderful Citrus instead to get a more specific result. There we go. So if we go to Wonderful Citrus, there's most of these reports are going to have a line here that says revenue range or sales range, and you're going to use that to get the number for total sales for the company. Now, this particular one that I opened doesn't have that in it, but I know from having done this before that it's about $1.7 billion is the revenues for Wonderful. So let's go back to the case analysis document and start by putting in 1700 for the revenues. That's in millions of dollars, so it's $1.7 billion. And now, follow the rest of the instructions. So, using the industry average financial ratios from First Research Industry Profiles, solve the following equations. So first of all, cost of goods sold. So we need to open up First Research Industry Profiles. Thank you. So now we go back to the library database, or the library website, and click on, go up to the letter F and click on First Research Industry Profiles. And then we're going to type in agriculture, because that's the industry that we're looking at. Agriculture and forestry sector. So we're going to click on that. And in this report here, you have to scroll down towards the bottom of the document. Eventually you'll get to a place that says company benchmark information. Okay? Those are the financial ratios that you need to calculate both industry averages and the numbers for private sector companies. So we need a number for cost of goods sold. So unfortunately, there's no word for cost of goods sold here. We need to subtract net gross margin from net sales in order to get the cost of goods sold. So 100% minus 43.5% is 56.5%, I believe. So cost of goods sold in this case is 56.5%. So we'll go back to the case document times 56.5%. Cost of goods sold equals 1.7 billion times 56% equals, let's see here. Equals 1700 times 0.565. 960.5 million. So now we go back here and put $960.5 million. So if it's a private company, you can't calculate the percentage like you do for a public company. You can't calculate the ratio. So you're going to work backwards from the ratio, and you're going to show me that you know how to calculate the actual dollar amounts of some of these items for the company. Okay? So that's cost of goods sold. Now, if you follow the rest of these instructions, we're also going to get a number for current assets. Okay? So follow the instructions here for current assets. We're going to go down further here. So that's the second part. Then we're going to find a number for total shareholder equity. And finally, if we look back at these instructions again, we're going to find a number for accounts receivable. And in order to find those numbers, those are all going to be dollar amounts. You're going to use that instructions for private calculating private company financial information document and just follow the instructions. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? If I went through a lot of numbers kind of quickly, I'm recording everything. I'll post the webinar over the weekend so that you have a chance to look at that. I wanted you to send me your draft cases by the end of this coming weekend. If you send it to me the first part of next week, it's fine. If you need a little bit of extra time to listen to my my webinar and then finish the financials, as long as I have your draft cases by Monday or Tuesday of next week, then I can spend next week going through and doing my markups so that I can give them back to you when you get back from the Thanksgiving break, okay? So that's that. Then finally, you're going to need to fill out the industry average column. So in order to do that, there's another instruction document. If we go back to Case Analysis Materials, Instructions for Calculating Industry Average Financial Ratios. Open up that document and basically follow the instructions. So we're going to calculate gross profit margin. So open the first Research Industry Profiles report, scroll down to the section entitled Financial Information, do the following. So we go back here to the financial information, and gross margin is the first thing we want. So 43.5%. Put that there. Now we want to find the current ratio. So to find the current ratio, we scroll down to financial ratios, and you'll see right here, second line says current ratio, 1.6. So let's go back and put 1.6 in here. Then we want to find long-term debt to equity ratio. So let's go back and look at the instructions. Long-term debt to equity. We need to find the row that says total long-term liabilities, and we need to find the row that says net worth. So we'll go back in here to the balance sheet portion. Total current liabilities, 21.5%. And we're going to divide that by total net worth. Net worth is 49.1%. Oops. So 21.5 divided by 49.1. 0.4379. So that is the average long-term debt to equity ratio in the industry. And then finally, we want to calculate the average collection period for the industry. So go back to the instructions again. Average collection period. We need a number for accounts receivable. And we need a number for total assets to sales. So we go back here. Accounts receivable, 9.8%. Divided by, we need the number for total assets to sales. So total assets to sales is 86.4%. And that entire number is going to be divided by 100 over 365. So go back in here and put parentheses in the right place. Equals, and just calculate that what that number is and put it there. Change all these so that they're black font. And then the last thing you need to do is go down here at the bottom and explain the significance of the comparisons of each company's ratios. So we're going to do the following. Profitability. Oops. Liquidity. Leverage. And activity. And for profitability, we compare the two companies, but the problem here is Wonderful's private, so we just have dollar numbers. We can't compare the two companies. If we had percentages here for both companies, we would say Bolthouse's profit margin is 34%, Wonderful's is 62%, the industry average is 43.5%. Bolthouse is below the industry average. Wonderful is above. Both of them above the industry average, and Wonderful is considerably better than Bolthouse. Since we can't do that, we're just going to compare Bolthouse to the industry. So, profitability, Bolthouse, gross margin is 34.9%. This is below the industry average of 43.5%. Okay? Period. Then you go on to liquidity and do the same thing. Compare this number to this number. For leverage, you're going to compare. Activity, you're going to compare. Don't forget, after you calculate all the numbers, you need to go down beneath the chart and just give me a sentence or two comparing the two companies' ratios with each other and with the industry average. Okay? Does that all make sense to everybody? Okay. So that's the first page of the financial analysis. Second page of the financial analysis is looking at 3 years of the income statement. Now, I gave you a chart with gross revenue, materials, cost of goods sold, etc. It doesn't have to be these exact categories, okay? What I want you to do is go in and go to the Morningstar database again for your public company. So we type in Campbell's again here. Oops. Are people in here using Morningstar right now? There's only so many entry licenses that we have, so if somebody else outside here on campus is using the database at the same time, sometimes you can't get in. Let's see if we can get in again now. Nope. Okay, so anyway, you're basically going to go back to Morningstar and you're going to copy the information from the income statement for that company into this page here. So just take out that chart and replace it with the income statement chart from Morningstar for your focus company. Okay? And then at the bottom of that page, I want you to look at the various items in the income statement and I want you to highlight one that seems large or seems too small. It seems odd for the company. I want you to highlight one and describe what's important about it. Okay, so you're going to basically have a page with a big chart of finances, and then at the bottom you're going to have a sentence or two saying, cost of goods sold for this company seems particularly small, or taxes seem particularly high. You're going to highlight one of the items and describe it briefly at the bottom of the page. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you're going to do the exact same thing with the balance sheet, except you're going to do it in two different ways. You're going to do it with dollar figures here. Well, I take that back. You know what? To make this simpler, forget about the percentage. Forget about the percentage one for now. Just do the dollar figure balance sheet. So there's 4 pages of the financial analysis section in the case template. Just do the first 3 pages. Don't worry about doing the balance sheet as common value. There's enough for you guys to do already without doing that 4th page. So you're going to do the exact same thing. Copy and paste the balance sheet. Look at it. Identify one of the line items that seems particularly large or particularly small, and at the bottom of the page, 1 or 2 sentences commenting on what you think is out of place or particularly large or small about the balance sheet. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, cool. So, next, all the way up to the top, and we finally talk about the summary section of the case paper. So, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs that you're going to write, okay? After you've done all of the rest of the case paper, I want you to look through everything you've done. Vision, mission, objectives, handbrake strategy, driving forces, RBV analysis, SWOT analysis. Look at everything and choose what you think is the most important thing about your entire analysis that you've done. Okay, so as an example, maybe you noticed when you did all the analysis, but one thing I noticed just right now, if we stick with the example that we've been using today, we didn't finish calculating this number, but the liquidity ratio for Bolthouse, the liquidity ratio for Bolthouse is really, really low. They actually have about 1.5 times as much liabilities as they have assets. That's not good. You want to have a ratio of 1 or better. So maybe the most important thing about the entire case that I noticed is that Bolthouse is short on money, basically. They're short on cash. So if that were the case, then I would go all the way up here to the top of the case, and I would write, well, first of all, I will not type in bold and underlined. The key issue that we noticed about this case is the importance of liquidity for companies in the agriculture sector.
So the summary would be like the main thing that we all agree, and then individuals, what they believe.
No, the summary is, you're just writing one summary for the entire group, but you're going to have a summary for the case overall, and then you're going to give recommendations in each of the areas of your analysis. Okay? So, but it's just one text summary for the entire group. Make sense? Okay. So the key issue that we noticed about this case is the importance of liquidity for companies in the agriculture sector. Bolthouse has a particularly low current ratio of just 0.75. I don't know. We didn't calculate it, but I think it's about that if we finish the calculation. This means that Bolthouse would not be able to pay all of its bills if all of its creditors requested payment at the same time. We recommend that Bolthouse extend longer terms on its accounts payable and constrict terms on accounts receivable to address this problem. Okay, so if you look down at the bottom of the page here, I gave you a description of what I want. So I want one sentence that states the issue succinctly. Okay? Then I want a second sentence which explains why the issue is important. I want a third sentence giving an example of how that issue is impacting the company. And then I want a fourth sentence that gives a brief suggestion of what the company should do to address the problem. Okay? 4 sentences. Here's the problem. Here's why it's important. Here's how it is impacting the company we're looking at. Here's what we suggest they do. Okay? And that's what you're going to do for the overall summary. And then you're going to do something similar for each of the major analysis areas. So overall strategy analysis, if we scroll down to that, we've got vision, mission, objectives, handbrake strategy, business model, corporate level strategy, international strategy. I want you to pick one of those that you think was the most important analysis that you did and give a suggestion for what the company should do. So same format. Let's say, for example, Wonderful's vision statement is particularly long. For example, it is over 6 sentences in length. A long vision statement is hard for employees to remember and does not do a good job of focusing the company on its objectives. We suggest that Wonderful Company shorten their vision statement to no more than 2 sentences, period. Okay? So you're going to pick one of the tools in that section and you're going to write up a 4-sentence summary. Here's the problem. Here's why it's important. Here's how it's impacting the company. Here's what we suggest the company do. Okay? So you're going to do that for these tools under overall strategy analysis. Then you're going to do it for external analysis. So for external analysis, you're going to go look at driving forces, Porter's 5 forces, key success factors, and you're going to choose one of those 3 you think is most important write a summary section on that. Then same thing for internal analysis. Take a look at the company resources and capabilities analysis, the competitive strength assessment, the SWOT analysis, and decide from those which is the most important thing. Write up a summary on that. Then same thing for customer and competition analysis. Look at all those tools, pick the most important one, write a summary about it. Management analysis, same thing. Look at the tools, bless you. Pick the most important one, write a summary about it. And finally, same thing with the financial analysis. Look at what you came up with, decide what is the key piece of financial information, write up a summary, a paragraph about it. Does that make sense to everybody? Questions about what I want? That now covers everything in the case paper. Do you have any questions about what I want you to do for the case paper? Okay, so each group needs to email me by Monday or Tuesday of next week. So no later than a week from right now. I want you to, the group needs to email me your draft case paper. I will go through, make some markups, suggestions on what I want you to do, and then you'll have 2 weeks after Thanksgiving to make the rest of the edits on it. Okay? Okay. And then, as far as Globus is concerned, Group B, I tried. It didn't go as well as I had hoped. But I think all the suggestions that I've given you over the course of the semester, you probably have the best understanding of what impacts what. Even though you had bad results, you'll be able to write a good summary on how the inputs work together in the game. So for each group, I also want you to write up a one-page summary of what you learned from Globus. And I particularly want you to focus on, we found that having lower than a 2-star quality camera in multi-featured does not have demand to support the camera. Or we found that by increasing our customer service investment, we were able to offer a lower quality and lower priced camera because the customer service investment offset the warranty claims. I want you to be able to describe the cause and effect relationships in the game. So in addition to your case paper, you're also going to send me a one-page summary of what your group learned from Globus. And that's a group thing. You just need to send me one paper for the group. It's not an individual exercise. And that's it. Any questions? Okay, it's a little early, but get out of here. We're going to have a great, yes?
Well, I can wait until after, but I know I sent you an email and you responded, but I haven't had a chance to look at it. Can you just talk about international strategies for companies that are just operating in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the whole group can hear.
Yeah, you can read what I said too, but basically, I want you to look at the U.S. as if it were the whole world. So instead of saying, the company has a lot of sales in Europe, but not very many in Africa, I want you to say the company has a lot of sales on the East Coast, but not very many on the West Coast. Does that make sense? So,
where would we find that information?
I would look in Google and look in ProQuest, and if you can't find it, like I said as well in the email I sent you, I want you to give me your suggestion for what you think they should do. If you look in Google and you can't find any information, give me your suggestion for what you think they should do. Does that make sense? Okay.
Kevin?
Yes.
So I was filling out the income thing. So, like this one? I filled it out, but is it okay if I also like attach like
Yeah.
when I got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I prefer you do it that way.
To do it that way?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So what if like the actual thing does not have a number? Can I just put like a little line or something? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was just my question.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool.
One more. The questions for your guest speakers. This last one, did you put a link on the email? For the girl, the lady who was here who was retired? Or she had just retired?
I had a link for her for questions.
Yeah, for the question.
Yeah. It was in. I sent a list of names and links. Her name was Valerie Lee. If you open up that email, she's one of the ones that I listed.
Yeah, because I looked through all your emails and maybe I just didn't get it. But when did you send that email? And you sent it to our regular one, right? Or like my CCB.
Should be. That should be it.
Well, that was just for the video.
No, sorry.
That was for the video one, right? And then that was for the.
I know. I
Yeah.
was thinking that like this one,
That one?
The original. You have to.
I was just like, well, I already said all that you want one. So I just did everything that was number one.
That was for the website. Had you sent it before? Or maybe it was this one. Maybe it was it.
No, I sent it here.
Because I was looking through all of your emails and I couldn't find it. I found the first one where we were able to input. You showed us on here where we were able to put. I did that one, but I couldn't find this last one.
Let me see when I sent it. Hang on.
And there's no way to just like it's there's no way when you get your final grade, there's no way we're.
It was after like, I started like after the
Okay, I sent it on November 2nd.
With the LinkedIn edit?
No.
No.
It said questions for the rest of our guest speakers.
But like I said,
Here.
do you guys need me to do?
What email should I send it to?
You can do it to the s.garcia_2011
Say again, s.garcia_2011
Yeah, the only one I got was that LinkedIn one on the 2nd. And then the next one I got was...
It's a little late, but I haven't actually done the grading for it yet. So,
Because I mean,
go
I
in,
couldn't find
go
it. I
in
just
and write up
wrote it
questions for
on
the rest of them, and then I'll still give you credit for them.
Okay.
So I just forwarded it to you again right now. Okay.
I'll go ahead and do it.
I just went off of what you guys said. I was like, okay, cool.
No problem.
We just took it where you left off.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, you guys can go on and like see what I did.
Yeah, because it's already on.
Yeah, this is on.
Some of my part that I did, like it was from the fresh Del Monte, so I have to take some of that off. Yeah, I was like, oh crap.
I didn't. Not yet. Because I was a little confused with what was happening. I think I saw something about it.
No, I know that's I think we should probably just forget about what I wrote at the very beginning. Because I'm not pretty much sure we have anyway. And then just go on to what you said. And then
We talked about like when you first did that.
yeah, should just forget about that because I think I did. Because it was just the first couple of sections that we explained that
Oh, you already did all that?
No. Oh, no. I just think we should go off this and do this part. Like the way you did this one. Because I don't think there would be anything missing if we just organize that.
So,
Yes.
sometime once quarter's wrapped up.
What's that?
Sometime once the quarter's wrapped up and you got some downtime,
Uh-huh.
you should look into Twitch TV.
Twitch TV?
Yeah, Twitch.tv.
Cool.
Because it's like, you know how...
What is it?
You know how there's the whole thing of like, people like upload them as soon as you can, you're like, yeah, but it takes a while to convert the files because they're massive. It's like a streaming thing where you can just broadcast directly to it, so someone can just log on to like your.
Did you tell me about that earlier in the quarter?
I think I might have, but I think I might have mentioned it on the open broadcast because it's got a feature just to broadcast what it sees directly to Twitch.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I think you told me about both of them, and I actually made a note to myself after the semester.
oh, to go look at
Switch
them.
technology, yeah.
Because it's. I've met a lot of people that use it, and I mean, if that many people use the same service, it can't be that. Like, I think it's got to be.
No, I'm
convenient.
sure it's good. I'm sure it is. Before I forget, let me stop recording. There we go.